Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the most OP level 20 Artificer mod build in Baldur's Gate 3. So this is going to have a bit of multi-classing in here. I'll also show you all the gear that you want to use for this. This mod was made by Echo0000. They did a fantastic job of this. Now, starting off here, we're going to take for cantrips. I think that having Flame Bolt can be really nice if you got like explosives nearby. Guidance is also useful early on if you don't have a cleric, but we'll go with Ray of Frost and Firebolt. For our spells, Shield is going to be an essential one, giving us a +5 to our armor class, as well as Magic Missile is another great choice here. In addition to this, we'll be taking infusions, so we're going to go with something like the increased armor class and increased weapon attack rolls. And for our subclass, you could go Armor for the bonuses to melee attacks and ranged attacks. This one's pretty nice, you'll get resistance to a damage type, but for the most offensive version of this, the Artillerist or the Battlesmith are the way to go. With the Battlesmith, we get the Steel Defender, and it can increase your armor class by 5. So it's actually very tanky, but the Artillerist is the most damaging because we get ourselves a repeating shot and the Eldritch Cannon. We can place down 2 of these cannons, which can attack and deal a bunch of damage, or we can empower our ranged weapon. It's actually best to drop down the Eldritch Cannon yourself. And I'm going to go with the Artillerist for this, but you can also go with either of those two as well if you'd like. Now for our ability scores, I think it's important to take our intelligence up to 18 there. We're going to want to have a good amount of dexterity too, so we can bump down that and go 16 dexterity and go with our constitution at 13. We could add in Tavern Brawler alternatively, so we can go 16 strength, because we can actually this is actually a really good throwing build too, because we get the bonus action throw. But we're going to go with this, and we'll take down our wisdom, I guess, go to constitution of 14. So something like this will work well. So we'll go with that there. And for our skill proficiencies, I always take persuasion. Now we're going to go over a few different multi-class variations that you can go with, but I'll show you what I personally would go with. Now, I guess starting off here, at level 2, we can add in a few different things. You could also have started with the Fighter to give yourself Constitution saving throw proficiency, but starting with the Artificer allows us to get a stat up to 18 right at the start, which is actually a little bit better. So you got choices there. At level 2, we'll take Thunderwave here, because this one's nice for the pushback, taking out different enemies, and then Long Strider for the increased movement speed is extremely useful. For our inventions, Quick Toss is great. Throw using bonus actions, one of the best ways to get some extra damage in. And then there's a bunch of different options we can go with. Like if you want to focus more on infusions, you can go with the Infusion Recalibration, add more on short rest, or on the first turn of combat, you can get a free one. There's also different choices, like whenever you get a critical hit, you can get an Arcane Jolt. So if you want to focus more on that, we could go that route. But I think Reactive Shield is my personal pick here. So whenever you're hit with a spell that requires a dex save, you can use your shield to half or negate it. So it becomes really strong. Now at level 3, we got a few different choices again here, and things like Scorching Ray being a really nice damage option that we can go with, and also going with like the Shatter spell. It's a pretty popular, nice. It's like a mini fireball almost in a sense. So you can go with that, or you can also add in the Healing Word. We don't get level 6 spells, so we could also go with one of the other choices. We'll also add in a proficiency. We can go with like the medium armor proficiency. We will get some of these from the Fighter, but we can get heavy armor this way. And for our next level spell, Mirror Image to increase our armor class by 9, which is really huge. And Melf's Acid Arrow we can go with too. Now for our infusions, we can add homing to our weapon and can throw it a bit more. We can also increase our spell attack rolls and give advantage on concentration. So a few options there. For our ability score improvement, taking our intelligence up to 20 is a nice choice, and also increasing our dexterity can be a pretty effective way to go about this. So it's your choice there how you want to proceed, but we get a few different feats, so no worries there. Now level 5, we don't get ourselves the level 6 or level 3 spells, we get that at level 6, so we'll actually just go with another choice like Branding Smite or Healing Word to pick up your downed allies. And then once we hit level 6 here, that's where we get ourselves the extra spells like Fireball, Haste, and also get Conjure Barrage and Lightning Bolt and Glyph of Warding. So lots of great ones there. We also get ourselves the Misty Step, which is huge. Restore our level 3 spell slot with a ring, refueling ring there. And we get 2 more choices of inventions. So it's nice to be able to take some different things like restoring Arcane Jolt when hitting the enemy with 3 repeating shots. This is only if you take the Artillerist, which I think is, again, the strongest version of this. And adding intelligence modifier to range weapon attack rolls can also be extremely effective, because sometimes just a bow attack is very nice to have. Now level 7, we get ourselves the Elemental Infusion, add additional elemental damage to your ranged weapon, which is really nice. And then we can take our Conjure Barrage and Lightning Bolt. And we'll be taking heavy armor proficiency here. We'll get weapon proficiencies adding in the Fighter, and we got other choices too that we can go with. Now level 8, we get ourselves additional spells here like Ice Storm and Wall of Fire. And infusements, we can go with the Boots of the Winding Path to get ourselves free Misty Step. and we'll take another ability score improvement and add in intelligence. Now, to avoid any issues, we want to, some people have issues when it gets to level 12, so we can add in multi-classes here and then finish with this at level 12, but I'll wait for that in a moment. And at level 9 here, we get ourselves a choice in cantrips again, so we get the thunder, or I like the thorn whip to pull enemies closer to you if they're a bit out of range for your other teammates. Glyph of warding is extremely useful for sending down wards in different areas, and you can also go with like grease for a bit of crowd control without concentration. And for the weapon proficiencies, again, it's your choice here. Go with whatever you find most necessary. At level 10, we get ourselves further spells. I think Banishing Smite and Cone of Cold being the two best. And then we got ourselves another infusion. So we can go with something like the Repulsion Shield. Once we're combating, you reflect any ranged attack for 3 turns. It's huge. And then we can go with any of these inventions that, like the Fast Thinking, giving a reaction point can be pretty nice. You can also go with the Infusement, Recalibration, and Instinct to further enhance your choice that you get. Gain advantage on intelligence saving throw and skill check is also pretty nice, so you could go that route. There's intelligence saves whenever you're going against mind flayers. Now level 11 gives us the Eldritch Cannon to summon a second one, so this is a really big boost to our overall damage output. You can go with another spell here like Greater Invisibility for more stealth if you want to go that route. And even Enlarge Reduce can be pretty fun, although it does require concentration. And Cloud Kill is nice to take if you have zombies on your team, because that can be, you can use that to set up and you won't hurt the zombies with that. Now at level 12, we get ourselves a feat here, but we can also add in different classes. So I think the Wizard is a really nice one, because this one will give us different, we got full spell casting levels, so we can actually learn a lot of different spells. And then if you got Mistress Spells mod unlocked, you can go with some more fun choices like Booming Blade, Green Flame Blade, and Frostbite. And then for spells, we do have some of these from the Artificer here, but we also got some other ones we don't, like Absorb Elements. A lot of these would be Mistress spells, so even Find Familiar can be a nice choice. Frost Fingers, Gift of Alacrity is nice for increasing initiative. Magnify Gravity can reduce movement speed, which is great. Tash's Caustic Brew. We aren't going to use a whole lot of these, so you can take whatever you prefer, whatever you want there. And we can prepare a lot of spells because we have a good amount of intelligence. So we're going to scribe spells from scrolls a bit later on. We can go to the second level to get the subclass if you wanted to. But I think it's also nice to go and add in the Fighter, because this will give us the defense here, and we get a bonus action heal, so that's pretty nice. But we also will get Action Surge at next level, which makes this very strong, so that's a huge bonus. And we can take another level here to get ourselves a subclass. I have a mod that's reducing my choice options there. We can also add in the Barbarian if you want to reduce your spell casting, and taking the Bearheart Barbarian. What that will do is actually give us the action, damage towards us will be halved unless it's psychic damage, which makes us extremely tanky. But since we're a heavy spellcaster, I think adding in the Rogue or the Ranger, Gloomstalker Ranger, if you go in this route, the Rogue will give us an extra bonus action, which we actually make very good use of. And we get the sneak attacks and the different actions here that use the bonus action, so that's really nice. And then we'll take ourselves the Thief for that additional bonus action, so that's really good. And then once we get to level 18, we can go ahead with adding in the Ranger and go with like the I guess these choices don't really matter too much. We can go with the Bounty Hunter there. This does use one of our bonus actions, so just be mindful of that. And we can take one of the Wasteland Wanderers to increase our damage negation there, so that's also extremely useful. And then for this, we'll just take our next fighting style. I'd recommend Archery for the increased range attack rolls. That's really nice. And then also Ensnaring Strike can be pretty useful too. Hail of Thorns too. These use bonus actions, but it's your choice. Since we already have defense, we don't really need to focus on anything else. But finally, for our last level, the Gloomstalker gives us this extra attack on the first turn, +3 to our initiative, and we get an additional 1d3 or 3 meters of movement speed and a 1d8 extra damage on the first attack from the Dread Ambusher. Let's get Dark Vision. These are kind of moot, but the nice thing is that first turn of combat, we can go around just obliterating everyone. And I'll show you how crazy that can be, and we can take Fog Cloud for our last spell. Now, where this gets ridiculous is we have throwing, we have offhand attacks, depending on what weapon you want to use for your ranged weapon. So Gaunter Mail is probably the best choice, but also going with the Titan String Bow with a strength potion can be pretty crazy damage. And also, if you wanted to, you could go with the bonus act, or you can go with the offhand crossbows to get some extra attacks. I'm going to go with the Gaunter Mail here because this one applies Guiding Bolt on attack, and it goes with the glowing theme that we got going on. Now for our armor, we got a couple great options. Since we're using we can use medium armor, we can take the armor of agility for further stealth, but we can also go with the ballist armor here. We'll put our armor class at 27, but this will apply vulnerability to piercing damage, which is the Nyrelna and the Gauntramail here. So that can make this really strong. So it's your choice here where you want to put what do you want to put on for armor. You can get the extra 3 armor class, or you can go for the double damage on piercing. So I would go with the double damage from piercing personally myself. And then we also got like the Mask of Soul Perception. We got ourselves Cloak Protection, Helldusk Gloves for the increased spell attack rolls and spell save DC, Evasive Shoes, Ring of Protection, and then also Killer Sweetheart for the critical hit, and the Amulet of Greater Health. We also have ourselves Nyrelna, Viconia's Walking Fortress, and the Gauntramail. So this gets pretty crazy, as I'll show you guys in a moment here, because our damage output is next level. So I'll just go against the guards, because there's no point in me just focusing on like a smaller encounter. We may as well go crazy with a big one here. But we also want to be setting up. So like we got ourselves like the Eldritch Cannon, so we can use that to apply them onto the ground here. I will ungroup ourselves and then we'll go set up. So you got Arcane. You got a lot of options. So Enhanced Defense will increase our armor class even further. So we can get our armor class up to 29, and then with our Mirror Image, we'll push that even further. We can also enhance our weapon attack rolls here too. So this is great, because not only do we have increased hit chance, but also we have a good amount of spell rolls if we want to take Arcane Focus. We can add homing to our weapon, but we already have pretty good we already got everything that we want basically there. As you can see, we got a lot of spells. Like it's very overwhelming actually with the amount that we have. So I'd recommend dropping down the Eldritch Cannon. So you got 2 Eldritch Cannons that you can pop down here. And what's crazy about them is the amount of damage that you can output with them. So yeah, you can see there we got a lot of different ways to sneak around and stuff too. So if you want to be more sneaky, you can go that way. And I'll just quickly show you guys, or I'll put haste on so we can hold concentrations from other spells. So we can haste ourself here. I'll just get Gale to apply that to us, and then we'll go into turn-based mode and then start off combat. We have 239 health with this, which is really crazy. We'll just apply a mirror image to ourselves too, which does not require concentration, and that puts our armor class at 40. So 40 with 239 health, you can imagine how this will go. And we have these little Muppets here following along so that we can deal a little bit extra damage. It gets pretty crazy. So I'll just get into a right position here, and then I guess we could just drop a fireball to start off combat. So I guess we'll just wait for this turn to end, and then we'll get into it. Actually, Ice Storm is probably the best way to open if you want to set up like difficult terrain, because then the ice will melt and you'll be able to continually reapply it. So we'll drop down the ice right about here, and we'll get right into a fight. So just going to show how crazy this can be. Everyone's slipping around, and we got some enemies right close to us. But on our first turn of combat, we get a lot of ways that we can deal damage. So I guess going with another Ice Storm could be a route. We want to keep this ice surface here for as long as possible. So I guess we'll use this to make an even bigger ice patch here, and that further took out some more. And we have our Dread Ambusher extra attacks too, which is pretty crazy. So we got a couple of them right here. If you can line up a lightning bolt, that's also another really great option for damage. So this can hit 2 of them. Not ideal, but we'll just go for that there. And that did pretty good damage. We got ourselves the Dread Ambusher attacks. We can just go with the melee attacks. We're right here, and we rolled a 41 to hit, so we don't need any extra help on that. We took them out. And then we got 2 bonus actions. So what we can do with this is just even crazier. And as I mentioned, you might want to take the Tavern Brawler too if you wanted to further enhance this, because we got ourselves the bonus action throw here. And with Nyrelna in hands, we can throw it at anyone and potentially take them out. That took them out. It did hurt us, but that's okay. Typically, you want to be throwing this at someone that's near a bunch of other enemies. So if we can throw it at, potentially we'll get some, yeah, took them out. There's only a couple. We took out so many. You can see here, just litters with corpses. This is crazy. And I didn't even elemental infuse my damage, so that would have been even crazier. If you infuse your weapon with cold, you can use the snowburst ring to make ice patches underneath them. But ice is really good crowd control. And I didn't even go with our action surge, so this will further go off in terms of our damage. So we got another action there. We could go with like a ranged attack or even like a repeating shot too. We got repeating shot can use a bonus action or an action depending on if you have this toggled here. So you can go with the bonus action version of it, or you can toggle it off and take the action version. It's not letting me do it for whatever reason there, but that's fine. Our last targets are way down there, and I can hit them with a lightning bolt. If I go too close to the gate, oh, we took out, that one's just half alive. If we get too close to the gate, the mother brain will start talking to us, and I don't want that. So that was a pretty successful first turn. We still have our 40 armor class, and we took out like 20 enemies already. And then we got ourselves the Eldritch Blast. We may have to go a little bit closer. It got knocked prone, unfortunately, so that's fine. He's gonna throw critical block. We're just gonna block everything. There's no shot that he hits us. I didn't need to put it that far. It went prone too. That's okay. There's one more. Command Grovel. We're screwed. Command Grovel actually screws us up really badly, but there's only 2 enemies, so we're not going to get attacked too hard. And then we go back in. They'll probably command, and I save. Thank goodness. That was a little scary. And that's because our wisdom saves aren't super high, but they group together nicely for a crispy fireball. That didn't take them out. There's still one remaining, and we can just drop an ice storm there to take them out. That's it. And it created the big ice surfaces there. Our little cannons didn't even have to work, so that's pretty funny. But as you can see, this is very overpowered. We barely even got hit if we didn't get commanded. We only took health from me attacking and hitting with the Nirolna. So yeah, this is very powerful. So if you have any questions about this build, let me know in the comments. As you can see, there's a lot of options here. I didn't even get into using sneak attacks or banishing strike. Any of the other options that we got, but many different spells. We can restore a level 1 spell, so if you want to, you know, summon in something here, you can replenish your level 1 spells. This is powerful, very, very powerful. Shout out to Echo000 for making this awesome Artificer mod. And yeah, if you have any questions, again, leave them in the comments, hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.